From the Carson Student Athlete Center in the Schaefer Sports Hall of Fame here in Tempe, it's time for Sun Devil Extra alongside Arizona State Athletic Director Graham Rossini. I'm Braiden Bell. Welcome into the program today. Well, Graham, very busy around campus. Every single fall sport obviously underway. Winter sports starting to get into the swing of things as well. It's an exciting time. How you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, thick of the fall. It's here. You blink and we're in mid-October already.
It makes our shows much more exciting because we have a ton of subject matter to get to today. Noemie Glover, star of the volleyball team, will be joining us as well in segment number 2. But first we start with Sun Devil football and, of course, a setback in Salt Lake City over the weekend against the Utes. Sam Levitt not playing. It was Jeff Sims leading the Sun Devils in Salt Lake. And, you know, it's one of those games that it happens from time to time, one you want to forget and move on into Texas Tech.
Yeah, we haven't had a game like that in a while. And plan on it being an anomaly, not something that we see consistently, but yeah, kind of a bummer to leave Salt Lake with an outcome like that. But got to flip the page. We got a really good opponent in Texas Tech coming in. It's a weird week last week. We knew there would be weather to contend with. We were in contact with the Big 12 throughout the week, kind of understanding, is there lightning involved? The big thing for us is we don't want to be playing in the middle of the night. Maybe that would have helped us in hindsight. I don't know. But, you know, mindful of just, it's a late kick already. It's 8:15 kick. We're going to be getting back late. We've got a day game this weekend. That recovery day coming home, we haven't dealt with that a lot. Usually coming back from other time zones, we get the benefit of the time change. But didn't play great. Wasn't a great outcome. Had to flush it on the flight home and wake up Sunday and get ready for a new opponent. I do agree with something that Kenny said. He said this in the locker room. He said this in his media comments, that all our goals are still in front of us.
Sure.
And that's a blip on the radar. And we'll learn from a game like that. Credit to Utah. They played great. That's a much improved team than the one that we saw last year. Quarterback was impressive, local product, and they executed their game plan very well and had some home field advantage on their side. So we'll flush it. We'll get ready for Texas Tech and need to get ready because that's going to be a fun one.
Graham, it's kind of a hypothetical conversation because obviously the delay in the weather wasn't a big deal, but let's say there would have been a delay. What was kind of the initial plan there in terms of not playing at 2 a.m. or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a curfew per se. It just, at some point, it comes into the health and safety of athletes, and we made our position known throughout the week that, you know, anything beyond a couple hour of a delay, then you're playing at 1:30, 2 a.m. We've still got to get home. You know, it's not like we're just going back to our wherever we live after the game. There's some travel. There's a lot of logistics involved. There's also like getting the plane home, knowing that there was weather here in the Valley. We landed at 2:30. Shout out to our equipment team. Sean did a great job tweeting out a thank you at, 3 a.m. Saturday morning when we're all tired trying to get home, and we're in a lightning delay here on the tarmac at Sky Harbor, trying to get the bags off the plane just so we can load up the bus and get home. And so Brian Herod, Arthur, their staff does an incredible job. They do an incredible job always, certainly when the weather's great. But inclement weather, late night, and after a trip home, these guys were champs, kind of making sure that we could wrap that trip up and get on to the next thing.
I'm sure most of you were tucked away asleep at 2:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, but yeah, it was biblical rain Sunday morning. So for sure, shout out to the equipment staff. So now let's flush it on this show as well. We'll move on and a chance to really bounce back against one of the better teams in the country, at least so far, number 7 Texas Tech, in here 1 p.m. on Fox. You can also, of course, listen to it on the Sun Devil Radio Network. We hope you're here in attendance at Mountain America Stadium. Hall of Fame weekend, we'll get to that a little later on in the show, but cool throwback uniforms for the Devils this weekend, and obviously a chance to not only bounce back on the field, but to do so against the team leading the conference right now.
Yeah, I think we'd all agree that this is probably the game that we circled the moment the schedule came out. You know, it's middle of the season. Program on the rise in Texas Tech. You know, well documented that they made incredible investment in their roster during the transfer portal. They got a lot better, and they were good last year. And so, right out the gate, we knew that this would be a really fun time of year. You know, kind of in the part of the season, first and second place as we sit in the standings right now. So a lot riding on the outcome. I love the fact that it's a 1 o'clock game, and so having a mid-October day game, it's going to show beautifully. Thankfully, the bad weather seems to be behind us. So ought to be a pretty picturesque day here at Mountain America Stadium. Expecting another sellout, Hall of Fame celebration. The throwback jerseys are killer. Can't wait to have those be shining in the sun, and should be a great game. So we're very much looking forward to that.
Sunny and 75. We got blessed with the weather as well heading into Saturday, and it should be, like you said, a really good environment, a much needed bounce back opportunity for ASU in this game against number 7 Texas Tech. Of course, we'll talk more about football as the show goes on, but we've alluded to it a couple of times now. It is Hall of Fame weekend, and that's always a really fun weekend, it seems, around Tempe, and a special one, especially this year, with the 1975 team being honored, the entire Fiesta Bowl champion 1975 team being honored. The uniforms will display that, but more Hall of Fame recipients. We'll get to those in a minute, but we'll start with the 75 team. Really cool weekend for them.
It's been fun over the course of the summer when we identified that, hey, they're a no-brainer. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of this team, undefeated team, big Fiesta Bowl win, many of the legends in the program on that 75 roster, including Danny White, who's on our staff right now, and so it's nice to see Danny every week at our games. But what a deserving team. And if memory serves me, it's the first football team that we've inducted in the Hall of Fame. I know we have a track and field team that's gone in, and so kind of an unconventional way to do it, but it's too good of a story not to celebrate. And it's in addition to the 50th anniversary of the 75 team, it's the 50th anniversary of the Hall of Fame. And so it's kind of a nice pairing of let's recognize them as we kind of honor half a century of Sun Devil excellence, a number of deserving honorees, as you mentioned, for sure. But yeah, really excited for that team to get their due. They've been excited. They've been planning. There's a lot of people making an effort to be in town. They're going to get their 75 Fiesta Bowl rings, which they never got as a team, come to find out. And so we were very grateful for some donors who stepped up to make that happen. And so, yeah, it's going to be a really fun weekend, and excited to have that team get recognized Friday at the event. Friday night they'll do a team dinner, and then Saturday during the break between the first and second quarter, they'll get their due.
I'm glad you plugged that luncheon. That's going to be Friday at the Omni in Tempe. It starts at 11:30 a.m. You can start showing up there. There are a limited number of tickets still available, so you might be able to get in the door. If you check online, there might still be tickets available as far as the Hall of Fame luncheon goes. But, you know, if there was a Mount Rushmore of Sun Devil football, the 75 team is clearly on it. And just a couple of things, unless the fans aren't already aware of this. Number 2 in the final rankings. Beat Nebraska in the Fiesta Bowl, as we already said. You think of maybe the most iconic play in ASU history, John Jefferson, the catch against U of A. That was in 75, of course. So many stalwart moments of Sun Devil football happened that year, very deserving. Other inductees, and there are several, so we'll just name a few, but Jeff Ayers from the men's basketball side of things, Dallas Escobedo from softball, national championship pitcher, Gary Donnelly, men's tennis. They're great honorees all the way through, and it's going to be a really fun weekend.
Yeah, and traditions matter. I say that a lot. I think there's a lot of incredible storylines throughout our entire department, and 26 sports that are alive and well now, some other sports that existed in the early days of the department, and it's really important to honor the legends that have come through the program, have them be a point of inspiration for the current athletes, celebrate the pageantry that's always so unique and important in a college sports setting. And so always a day I look forward to, and we want to keep playing it up. It's last year we're at Old Main, this year we're at the Omni selling out a ballroom. So really nice progression in the course of the event. Shout out to Bridget Aronson, Jackie Blazer on our team who do a great job producing the event. Sports information staff has done a great job kind of combing candidates, and a really healthy debate amongst our heritage committee on who's deserving of recognition. And we've been trying to catch back up as well. And so digging back into the 60s and 70s and making sure that, hey, we're able to recognize these people while their families can still enjoy it. And yeah, can't wait. It's going to be a fun day.
Here's a bridge. You ready for this?
All right.
Traditions matter. How about be the tradition? Sun Devil hockey. They were on, thank you. They were on home ice over the weekend. Thank you, everyone.
School.
Live shout out to the Cronkite School as always.
Teach them well.
Yeah, they do. I'm biased, but they do.
Are we going to a break or are we going to hockey?
No, we're going to hockey.
Okay.
Icebreaker tournament. We're breaking the ice here talking about. Okay, I'm done. I'm just going to leave.
You're so punny.
Dad jokes are already alive and well. Wins over Notre Dame 5-3 on Friday. Alaska Fairbanks 5-2 on Saturday. Obviously, anytime you get to lift a trophy, it's fun, and to do so on your home ice, even better. Get in the win column on the year. So it's a good weekend all around for the ASU hockey team. Yeah,
really important. We played Penn State well, right? And I think for 110 of the 120 minutes of the Penn State series on opening weekend, we're right there. Unfortunate third periods on both games, but really important bounce back. And so beating a talented Notre Dame team, and then walking away from the tournament with a trophy, like you said, it's nice for these guys to believe that they're good and have the outcomes reflect that. And so 2 weeks into the year, this team is exciting, and it's top ranked for a reason. There's a lot of talent on this roster. It was nice to see them kind of compete in front of a home crowd. Once again, crowd at Mullet Arena is amazing. Every time we're there, we're not going to be back for a couple weeks now, and so definitely lets them go on the road with some momentum and then keep building this thing. We got a really challenging schedule in the NCHC coming up. We know that, defending national champion in the conference, a number of teams that compete for a Frozen Four spot. So hockey's a grind, one of our longest seasons, and nice that we're out the gate in such strong fashion.
How about Cruz Lucius competing against Alaska Fairbanks with the hat trick? Shout out to him, obviously coming through in what was a 5-2 win, as we said on Saturday. And you mentioned the crowd. It's wild to me just around the community, and I can only imagine you get it a ton. People, so much buzz around this program. Even people that aren't necessarily big-time hockey fans, they've heard about what Mullet Arena is like now, and people want to get a taste of that.
Yeah, Secret Salad. It's probably one of the more energetic venues in the entire valley at any level.
Sure.
Credit to Coach Powers, credit to the fan base. Keep dropping my mic. I don't have
Fumble on the play.
I don't have good statements while I'm dropping the mic, but that's the second one in the show. So, hockey's been a blast. And how about Cruz Lucius? Might be the best name in the athletic department.
Sure.
I'm gonna go on record saying that. Not a better athlete name today than Cruz Lucius.
Lucius. All right.
It's baller. It's a baller name.
It is. CRUZ
also
too.
Really good player.
Very good.
Yep.
They'll be on the road this weekend, like we said, first road trip, and then they will start conference play, not this weekend, but the next weekend against Miami, Ohio. Augustana, Friday at 5, Saturday at 4. You can watch both on Fox 10, listen on the Sun Devil Radio Network, of course. One more thing to touch on before we send it off to a break, and it's a perfect lead-in to our interview today, Sun Devil Volleyball. And I mean, running out of adjectives to describe what they do on a week-in, week-out basis. A couple of ranked wins at home, a sweep of number 16 Baylor, which was super impressive. Then they bounce back 48 hours later, and they take Colorado, who was ranked 24th, in 4 sets. So the winning just keeps on happening. They're now 22-1 in Big 12 play since they joined the league last year.
I mean, what else do you say? I mean, it's our most consistent program, performing at a high level. Have been competing non-conference, in-conference in such an incredible way, and we knew last week would be a test. Early in the season, you knew Baylor, Colorado were going to be a test. Handled them very well. Competitive matches. I think Baylor was an ugly win, if you could say it that way, but a sweep, right? So you're sweeping a top 20 team, and if that's what an ugly win looks like, I think we would sign up for that every step of the way. And just great veteran leadership on this team. Some huge additions. I know we'll hear from Noemie in a little bit, but she's been a star. Bailey and the climb Bailey's made from last season this season is unbelievable. I think we mentioned on the show, like her verts increased 5 inches year over year, which is unheard of. Shout out to our conditioning staff for that, as well as Bailey. But really fun team to watch. And I think we had over 8,000 people at the 2 matches last week. So fans continue to show up. It's been such a point of pride for us, and really be in a position where we can control our own destiny in that sport. And I want to keep pushing, get back into the tournament, hopefully get back and hosting the tournament and make a deep run. And just the continued progression of volleyball under Coach Van Niel is just nothing short of incredible, and it's been a blast to see this continue to grow.
Number 7 in the country now. They did move up 1 position in the rankings coming into this week, and they'll be on the road against Utah and BYU, so trip up to the mountains this weekend. It'll be BYU, who's ranked as well. Very good conference of the Big 12 in volleyball. That'll be Thursday, Utah Saturday afternoon. The star of the volleyball program, I mean, there are several, as you just touched on, but Noemie Glover, who has been one of the better players, not only in the conference, but in the entire country. She'll join us right here in this chair when we come back. Welcome back to Sun Devil Extra, now joined by our special guest of the program today. We just kind of hinted at it before the break, but it's Noemie Glover, who is taking this volleyball program, this conference, this country by storm. Noemie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for joining us today. Outside hitter from Rancho Santa Fe, California, and the freshly minted Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, 2nd time this year as well. So first off, congrats on that.
Thank you.
I know you're very team focused, so we'll move that award to the side for a moment and talk about what your team did this past weekend and what you've been doing really all year long. 2 more ranked wins, though, against Baylor and Colorado last week. A interesting sweep against Baylor where every set went down to the wire. Colorado handling them in 4 sets. I mean, how good are you guys playing right now, and how much better do you think you can get?
I think we're playing really good ball right now. I think that we have a really high ceiling. I think it's more week by week how we can keep improving. I think we're just really, it starts in the gym. Like, we all have the mindset of wanting to be the best we can, being a great team, having that team chemistry that really can push you to those wins. I think in both of our matches this weekend, they were pretty close. games, and it was like, okay, how do we fall back on what we know about each other, how we can play, how we can get out of the situation, and problem solve.
You're now 5-0 in league play and number 7 in the country. I'm curious, when you're out there on the floor, you guys are clearly the hunted right now, right? You're the top of the league. ASU obviously had a great year last year before you joined the program at 30-3, won the conference. Can you guys tell like that teams play up against you?
Yeah, we've had this thing where teams go into a 6-2 when they play against us. I think just to add more physicality, to have more hitters available because we have a big load up offense. So I think it's cool that like we can scout a team that week and be like, okay, but maybe we go through a lot of film of like, okay, well then they can do this. They could also do this if this is going well for us. And I think we have so many things that we can do well that teams need to look out for, and they need to change their plans accordingly.
You know, you just mentioned the physicality you guys have and also just the depth, right? I mean, some of these names, fans, I'm sure you guys have been watching, but Tatum Parrott, Bailey Miller, Kyla Presley behind you as an opposite. You guys just have so many different weapons. What's it like for you to play alongside so many great players as well?
It's amazing. It's a very calming, trusting feeling that you know, like, okay, in a situation, 4 people can get the ball right now and they can score if we put people in good spots. So there's things that we can do according to blocking where it's like, okay, maybe in the beginning of the game, you will be open, teams will shift and try to compensate for you making a lot of points, and someone else can go on a run and get 4 points in a row, 5 points in a row. So it's really cool to see like how that works.
You're trying to plug a hole and then another one just appears right away.
Yes.
It's tough to stop this team for sure. I've seen it firsthand. We were kind of joking at the beginning that she's taking the country by storm, but then again, not really. AVCA watch list for Player of the Year in your start to the season. First off, congrats on that. And how would you sum up this year? I know you had to miss a few matches early on in the year after that great start against Penn State, but since you've come back, you've been outstanding.
I guess I would just describe it as like focus. You can have that focus of how you want after a season ends. Obviously, I made a run to the Sweet 16 last year with my team with Colby, and it's like once it ends, you're like, you never want that feeling to happen again of you not feeling like you put your best, not feeling like you had things align and wanting to do more for yourself. So I think like ever since then, it's like, okay, you go into the portal, you find a school that you feel with the vision of what you're feeling. So I think even then when I stepped into the gym, we already had Bailey Miller, we had Bryn Koval, Kyla Presley, Jaden Wilgus, like a whole group of girls that are also like, we want to repeat a Big 12 championship. A lot of the girls had left the program. They graduated 8 of the seniors, but it was still like, well, we want to make that for ourselves too, and go on to what they had taught us. So it's just definitely aligned of like, okay, we want to do great things. How do we do them? So just coming in the gym, having a coach that also, that's the standard, is to win a lot, almost every volleyball game that you want to play. So it's just cool to see those stars align and how practice gets so intense, so focused because we want to reach that.
You know, you alluded to it at the beginning of your answer there, but coming from Oregon with Colby Neal to Tempe, obviously Colby, you know, has the sister connection here with Jillian, but in terms of you guys coming to Tempe together, was that something you discussed while you were both it just kind of happened, huh?
No, I think obviously her sister had been there in the past, and so I think that was definitely a separate conversation of she's in a completely different place from me. She's already had her degree. She had another year of eligibility because of COVID and redshirt things. So for her, it was like, where do I go that's close to home, that's close to me, something that I would love for her last season. And I think that she found that here with ASU. And I think I'm wanting to be competitive for my last 2 years of eligibility. I want to go out with a bang. I want a team that can go all the way. And it was also ASU, so it just kind of worked out like that. It's very close to home as well, so we're both see our families almost every weekend for game days. So it's just lovely seeing the Neals and saying hi, saying what's up, and we have that good connection.
I'm curious. I was interviewing Noemie after the Baylor match a couple of days ago, and I asked you about transferring here. You described it as one of the best decisions you've ever made in your life. I mean, that's a big statement. What about this place draws you to say something like that?
Just the energy of everything around. I think just having that great fan support, having your coaches, having your teammates be so dedicated and so passionate about making a good experience what's what you're gonna get. Like you want to excel in academics, you want to excel on the court, you want to
Sure.
excel in your friendships and your relationships. So I think that even though that's something that you're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to college and that's what I'm gonna find, like it definitely does take trial and error to really figure that out. And for myself, it's very nerve-wracking going into the portal, leaving a program, feeling like you're giving up on what you had before and not exceeding the expectations. So letting go of that negative feeling of that transferring is going to negatively impact your life, and finally like entering the portal and seeing just how it opened up for me coming now, like almost 6 months later.
Sure.
It's just like, I'm glad that I went for it instead of being scared.
You made the right call, it looks like, in terms of
Yes.
playing for a winning program, all the things that you kind of just labeled as things you look for. You know, you get to play for one of the more interesting coaches in all of the country as well, in JJ Van Niel. I've said he might be my favorite coach to talk to, and I shouldn't admit that openly, but he's so much fun to talk to.
Yes.
What's he like to play for?
It's fun to play for him. I think he's so knowledgeable about the game. He has everything lined up of what is going to win. Like, so the scouting is very meticulous. It's very much like, okay, I was looking at this. I couldn't sleep last night because I was looking at this. So I just wanted to tell you. And you're like, you really, like, he just genuinely is like, he has an itch for volleyball that he just can't get enough of. And it's great to feel like connected in that way of like, you have someone that wants to win and is going to the point of being up for maybe getting 3 hours of sleep every night for a week to figure something out. Like, look, I showed the video, there's like 30 clips, and you're like, yes, you know what? Yeah, like that's how good you want to be. And it's like, if that's what I'm saying, oh, I want to be a really good volleyball player. Yeah. But like, you have someone that is genuinely putting in all of their time into that, and into each player, into each position, how to better every single skill in volleyball. So it's just like, it's comforting to know that like you can have that honest communication because of the passion that's put into it by all of our coaches.
Yeah, and JJ's certainly a student of the game. You can tell that. And while he is more of the serious type, just watching you guys play, you play with a great deal of joy. You're definitely having fun. The dance parties during reviews are phenomenal. Piper Rama with the worm is outstanding. If you haven't seen it, look it up. So let's go from the serious side now to the fun side, because you guys really seem like you're really connected as well. And for a team with so many newcomers, like we already said, that's not always guaranteed. But it does seem like you guys genuinely enjoy each other.
Yeah, I think that is definitely also the coach is picking great girls to be around that not only put in their all on the court, but have a sense of friendship, of kinship, of team spirit. So it's not easy to be with the same 20 girls every single day. So I think that just how our team likes to get up and be like, you know what, we have 4 hours of things today. How about we still have fun in between? We can dance, we can still feel connected and not feel like it's super tense environment. So I think that that's helpful. And then obviously just like how, I don't know how they do it, honestly. It's like the best feeling to have people that are so serious and so lighthearted at the same time, being able to flip that switch of like, okay, it's game time, it's 12 all, but like, hey guys, like this is just so fun. Like, I just love being out here with you guys. Just like, like that's exactly what you need. You don't need someone that's going to over push in those situations. I think me being a super competitive spirit, I'm always just like on go mode. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And you're like, everyone's dancing, having fun. You're like, yeah, I need to calm down. I need to calm down. I know what to do. We've done this so much. And I think just having that energy of like good, genuine people, it's very easy to let go of like maybe your stresses or maybe your individual feelings of doubt within and to like pour it out into your teammates because that's just what they do for you.
That makes a lot of sense, and it's abundantly clear watching your team play. Noemie, on the subject of fun, we're going to end the interview today rapid fire.
All right.
Okay, you ready? So we got a few for you. First one, a kill or a block to clinch a set?
Block.
Favorite uniforms you guys got?
Black jerseys.
The black ones? Okay. Instagram or TikTok? I stumped you
TikTok.
here. You had to think about that one. Okay.
TikTok.
Songs that get you hyped for a match?
I really like, we listen to a lot of Michael Jackson.
Oh, really? Okay.
Can't stop till you get enough. Don't stop till you get enough.
Yeah. Okay.
I like Disney too. We've been watching K-pop Demon Hunters, Golden.
the retros in K-pop and Disney, I would not have expected that, but I'm all in. You get to have dinner with 2 people, dead or alive. So your dream dinner guests, I should say.
Okay. Michael Jordan
Okay.
and Beyonce.
Good list. Can't go wrong there. Dream travel destination.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. Okay. Last one for you. Your go-to karaoke song.
My go-to karaoke song. The first thing that came to mind was "Would You Go With Me" by Josh Turner.
Okay. Okay. Hey, there's no embarrassing answers here. That's why it's rapid fire. We love it. Noemie, you have set this program on fire. It's been a lot of fun to watch you and your teammates play so far this year. On the road this week at BYU on Thursday night, at Utah on Saturday afternoon. Continued success and health for the rest of the season, and thanks for stopping by today.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with Graham Rossini to wrap up the program when we come back. Back here for segment 3 here on Sun Devil Extra, ready to wrap things up. Rejoined now by ASU Athletic Director Graham Rossini. I'm Braiden Bell. Thanks for tuning in today. Well, Graham, great stuff from Noemie Glover there, and an awesome story. Going to be fun to watch them compete this weekend as well. But another program that is just as highly ranked, in fact, just a little higher ranked right now. We'll go to the pool.
Yeah.
And a shout out to the swim and dive team, both the men and the women ranked, but the third ranked men's team, boy, they've had a lot of fun to start their year. Had the great attendance in their first home meet, then they went down to Tucson last weekend and won the All-Arizona meet as well.
Yeah, I mean, handled it in Tucson.
Yeah.
And I got such a kick out of looking the game recap, and we beat U of A, which is always nice to do, GCU, NAU, and kind of assert our dominance on the swimming community in the state of Arizona. And can't say enough about Coach Boehm and what he's been doing, taking over this program. Really in a position where we want to be a force in the Big 12, both on the male and the women's side. And so off to a really good start. Really can't ask for better performances. Home against UNLV, which again, shout out to the crowd. That was an unbelievable student turnout for the Friday night opener. Love the setting, doing it in the evening.
So good.
And, that's been a fun thing to do year over year now. And then go down to Tucson and just take care of business. What else can you say? But a lot of current Olympians, aspirational Olympians on both programs on the men's and women's side. And so excited for them to get off to such a strong start and keep this thing going in defense of the title.
I would say swimming and golf are the only 2 sports where in one day you can claim, all right, we are legitimately the best in the state. And there was no doubt in Tucson. The men's team, like I said, ranked 3rd.
That's right.
Women's team ranked 18th. They're going to get a great test, not this weekend, but the next. They'll head up to Palo Alto and they'll take on Stanford. Both of those teams, the men's and the women's for Stanford, are ranked high. So that'll be a really fun meet in a couple weeks' time. We'll
Very
keep an eye
similar
on that.
pool. Stanford's setup is a lot like Mona Plummer. There's
Okay.
bits and pieces of Stanford that we like as we think about some tweaks and improvements that we can make. And so I think the surroundings will be familiar both
Sure.
from a Pac-12 standpoint and then also another outdoor West Coast pool. So hopefully they perform well up there.
I'm going to go out on a limb. They will not have the crowd we did at Mona Plummer.
Probably not.
Probably not. On to soccer now. They're finally back at home. They had a brutal road trip where they were gone for seemingly 2 weeks or so. It was a long trip. They're finally back at home. They'll also, like the football team, take on Texas Tech, number 11 in the country, 7 p.m. on Thursday against the Red Raiders. They're trying to get back on the winning side of things after a long road trip. And, I mean, regardless of the sport, baseball, football, basketball, when you're on a long road trip, there's nothing like coming home and a chance to play it on their home pitch, a place where they've been really good this year.
Yeah, excited to get them back home. Texas Tech will be a tough opponent.
Yeah.
Big 12 continues to be another deep conference in soccer as well. So good to play those tough matchups at home. It worked well against BYU, hoping for the same outcome against Texas Tech. Think about Ella, right? She was on the show a couple weeks ago and had an injury, I think, a couple days after the show. So I've been thinking about Ella a lot, and we're going to miss her for a little bit of time, but it's that next woman up mentality. And right in the heat of a very competitive Big 12, the non-conference success that we had is going to really anchor us as we get down the stretch run in soccer. You look up end of October and that regular season wraps up, and they'd start the conference tournament in early November. So a lot to play for. There's still a lot of momentum behind this program. Excited to get them back home and take care of business in Tempe.
Yeah, I think out of all the seasons, soccer might go the quickest. You blink
really
and
is.
it's over.
Yeah.
So they're getting down the stretch. They're a very important match against Texas Tech. Like you said, a chance to knock down another top 15 team like they did against BYU to open Big 12 play. Other teams in action this week that we got to give shout outs to: women's golf, they'll be in action. Cross country, they'll be running down in Riverside, California this weekend. Women's tennis, so they're all competing this week. And of course, good luck to all three of those programs getting things going. Now to wrap up the show, our final, or favorite, I should say, not final, our favorite segment of the week, Sun Devil for Life of the week. Who you got?
I mean, I can't claim that we saw him in person, but Cam Scatterbo, right? Taking the nation by storm, scoring touchdowns, doing backflips, ripping his shirt off. I mean, we were talking before the show that this is kind of like the general area that he has been known to.
We can feel his presence.
Pop out of nowhere, make a cameo on the show. Maybe Sean can overlay that once again because it was such a fun moment early last season. But to see him do all that, and then, by the way, throw up a pitchfork at the end of a postgame interview.
I did see that.
So he's maybe on the other side of the country, but not far from thinking about the Sun Devils. And I mean, what a performance. And just love seeing him perform at the highest level. We all knew he was capable. Still frustrated that it took to the fourth round for a team to take him, but the Giants got it right, and they're going to reap the benefit of this for a long time. And it's been cool to see him and Jackson Dart kind of develop this rapport, and these young guys that are taking over New York by storm. And shout out to Scat. We did have Brock Osweiler on the road trip with us, so it was always good to be around Brock, who's become a great friend and always represents the Sun Devils. So, but yeah, we'll go with Cam Scatterbo, Sun Devil for Life.
America's tailback, Cam Scatterbo. I was going to rip my shirt off in an honor, but I'm not going to. Don't worry. I also think Jackson Dart's quietly working his way. He might, like, after all is said and done, be an honorary Sun Devil. Yeah. Because of the bromance they have. Yeah. It's a lot of fun to watch them.
You know, at Ole Miss, you don't really think too much of them, but now, like, he and Scat are this formidable combo, and young guys that are hopefully they've got a long runway ahead of them in the Big Apple.
And you said this, obviously, you know, in hindsight, Scat should have been a fourth-round pick. It certainly doesn't seem so, but to fall to the market of the Big Apple in a personality like Cam Scatterbo,
it's perfect.
Everything worked out.
Yep.
Graham, thanks a lot for joining us. I know a big weekend ahead at the Hall of Fame weekend. Obviously, a massive football game looming, and so many sports going on. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this week.
A lot of fun. Let's keep it rolling.
Yep. Hopefully, a lot of fun things to talk about next week's show. One more big thank you to Noemie Glover for joining us on the program again, and stay tuned on social media. Big weekend for the Sun Devils. We'll talk to you next week.